Hola, que onda? How are you guys doing today over in Argentina or wherever you are in the world? So, today we're reacting to the Argentinian Beatles. Apparently, according to a video comment on one of our videos here. So somebody said this was regarding our reaction to Charlie Garcia did recently. Someone said the Beatles, Argentinian. But then someone said, no, the Argentinian Beatles were Los Gatos.
Oh,
And Brett is a massive Beatles fan, right? He absolutely loves the Beatles. So I thought, we'll do this one for him. So we're going to be reacting to Los Gatos and their song Labalsa. So Brett, can you see the screen?
can indeed.
If you can't hear, you need to let me know. And just before we get going as well, guys, before I forget, if you donate to our channel, we will guarantee and prioritize a reaction request for you. You can find all the information about that down below. So let's go. Brett, give me the thumbs up, please, or the thumbs down. Okay, so Brett, you can't hear it.
No.
Okay. Let's go again. Share sound. That would help, wouldn't it? Right. This time you will be able to hear it.
Estoy muy solo y triste acá en este mundo abandonado. Tengo una idea, es la de irme al lugar que yo más quiera. Me falta algo para ir, pues caminando yo no puedo. Construiré una balsa y me iré a naufragar. Tengo que conseguir mucha madera. Tengo que conseguir de donde pueda. Y cuando mi balsa esté lista, partiré hacia la locura. Con mi balsa yo me iré.
Right, so it is quite a short song, I think, like a lot of Beatles songs are. So, yeah, Brett, how would you obviously we're doing this song for you mainly. How are you finding it?
Um, yeah, this sounds like the Beatles. Their look looks like the Beatles. There's a lot of feels to the Beatles. I think some of it is probably not as catchy as some of the early Beatles stuff from there. But yeah, I'm really sort of liking it, and because we have done other bands where people say, "Oh, these are like the Beatles equivalents," or like the Beatles, and they have been in parts there, but this does really feel like almost, dare I say it, a carbon copy of the Beatles. Definitely influence from them, if I'm allowed to say that. To them, but no, I'm really liking it. But yeah, it does feel like I'd be interested to see how your take on it, even though as someone who's probably not a fave as much with the Beatles, but knows a little bit or enough to know. Yeah, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean it was almost like a shock when you heard them sort of singing in Spanish, um, even though
Yes.
like they're Argentinian, so of course they're going to be singing in Spanish, right? But just the fact, I don't know, it just seemed like you see what they look like, and the sort of music comes on, the instrumental, you sort of, yeah, just always expect it always to be in English, like it's just an English, like it's the Beatles. But Yeah, I think what you did make a good point though. Maybe it's not as catchy as some of the Beatles songs. I think that's probably the biggest negative for me. It's just not really. It's just not catchy. Um, but yeah, interesting nonetheless.
a naufragar. Tengo que conseguir mucha madera. Tengo que conseguir de donde pueda. Y cuando mi balsa esté lista, partirá hacia la locura. Con mi balsa yo me iré a naufragar. Con mi balsa yo me iré a naufragar. Con mi balsa yo me iré a naufragar. A naufragar. A naufragar.
Okay, so I think I'll go first. Um, so yeah, I just prefer my pop songs to be a bit catchier. Is what we were talking about a minute ago. So I still enjoyed it though. I still enjoyed the retro feel. Yeah, the sort of the similarities there between the Beatles and this band. The sounds, instrumentals. I just feel it was lacking in that sort of sort of I suppose again that word catchiness just didn't sort of like I wasn't sort of bopping along. It just wasn't that sort of song, was it? It wasn't my cup of tea, that particular song. But I'd like to think that if we were to sort of react to them again, they might have some songs that I quite like. That's kind of the feel I'm getting from them. And yeah, I'm sure the Beatles have plenty of songs that I don't particularly like either, but they're going to be similar to that. So Brett, what about you? How did you find it?
Yeah, just to count that point there, because the sort of points I was going to sort of say, Meg, so maybe it might have not been the best example of their song for that, because you said, Beatles had songs that also weren't um, catchy and I wasn't as good as well. But yeah, it sort of encapsulates the sort of whole 60s kind of vibe as well. Because I know also when we've reacted to some bands, they've been from a certain decade, and it almost feels in different countries they're almost like a time period behind. So like I know we've listened to stuff from a different country which was meant to be um, from the noughties or modern and actually felt quite 90s or felt older. But this is, prime sort of 60s stuff there. So definitely influenced from just those sort of British sort of 60s kind of music there. So yeah, it was nice to hear it in that sense. And as you said earlier, the fact it felt so familiar and so Beatles like, but singing in Spanish. And it felt like a little bit like an alternative universe as such there. So yeah, maybe not the catchiest of songs, but definitely enjoyable to sense, seeing something so recognizable and feel so familiar, but in a totally different um, part of the world. So it'd be interesting to see what the other songs are like there, and also what the other pair, because other was in the first comment a different band um, saying, or were they saying what we reacted to were like the Argentinian
Yeah,
Beatles, and the
yeah.
person was reacting, yeah, because the first comment did have a picture of John Lennon, so he's obviously a big Beatles fan as well. So it'd be interesting to see, yeah, some of our Charlie's stuff in his band,
Mm.
because again, we probably saw them more later, like it was more like the 70s kind of style. So yeah, very intriguing. So I'm very intrigued to see, yeah, other stuff, what they may have done to be very Beatles-like.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, that is it from us today. So, muchas gracias. How'd you say goodbye? Adios. Adios, amigos.